Asus announced the new Zenfone 5 series of devices earlier last month at MWC in Barcelona. They invited us for a special session to test out the new Zenfone 5 and 5Z smartphones. It's worth mentioning that these devices are still prototypes and the final devices will improve both in terms of hardware and software. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas and here's what we thought about the new Zenfone 5 devices. I'll probably start off by mentioning the distinguishing factor between the Zenfone 5 and 5Z. Unlike most brands that change the screen size of the camera with different price points, Asus has adopted a single design for both. The 5 features a Snapdragon 636 chipset with up to 6 gigs of RAM, while the 5Z on the other hand comes with the new flagship from Qualcomm, the Snapdragon 845, and RAM variants go all the way up to 8 gigs. Other than that, the two phones are virtually identical inside and out. The most important new update is probably the most tangible one as well. Asus have clearly embraced the bezel-less trend, and the Zenfone 5 Duo clearly have one of the most impressive screen-to-body ratios on any smartphone currently, which Asus says measures in at 90%. Despite having 6.2-inch screens, the phones are a whole lot smaller than say the Galaxy S8 Plus or S9 Plus, both of which also have 6.2-inch displays as well as impressively small bezels. The phones feel solid but light as well. The aluminum frame is sandwiched by glass on both the sides and the rear glass has a concentric pattern that Asus is known for. Grip is pretty good and the rear glass does seem to have some texture that enhances the grip. There's no dual curved display here, but we are fine with that and some may even prefer that. 2.5D curved glass is what we get. In fact, we quite like the display itself in terms of color accuracy, brightness and sharpness. The outdoor legibility is also pretty good with 550 nits of brightness, and Asus say that the final retail version will be even better than the ones we have tested. The Super IPS units have 19:9 aspect ratio, 95% DCI-P3 color gamut, as well as a resolution of 20x46 by 1080 pixels. Like it or not, the notch is here to stay. While we aren't fans of the notch per se, we also do understand how the notch is a design trade-off that currently we have to make do with, since it's impossible to hide all those sensors and cameras without having to sacrifice on features. Hence, a notch is a step towards a truly bezel-less future that we have to endure for a bit longer. Luckily, Asus has made the notch as small as possible and also allows users to customize whether they want apps or games to wrap around the notch in true 19:9 ratio or stick to 18:9 ratio or even just go the conventional route with 16:9 aspect ratio. One of the most impressive things we found on the Zenfone 5 Duo was the impressive speaker setup. It packs in two 5-magnet speakers, one at the bottom and one is the earpiece itself. We aren't really sure whether this can trump the Razer phone in terms of output, but it's definitely one of the most loudest smartphones we've ever tried. The phones were running Android 8.0 Oreo at the time of shooting the video, however the software isn't in its final build, so we really don't want to comment on its performance yet, but it's definitely promising. The phones come with a hybrid dual SIM slot that supports dual 4G LTE and VoLTE. The bottom houses the audio jack and the USB Type-C port. At the rear you find a vertical placement of the dual camera module. The primary camera is a Sony IMX363 unit with 12 megapixel resolution, 1 by 2.55 inch sensor size, 1.4 micron pixel size and f1.8 aperture with OIS. The secondary camera goes the route of wide-angle sensors as it features 120-degree field of view on the 8 megapixel f2 sensor with 1 by 4 inch sensor size and 1.12 micron pixel size. The front-facing camera seems to be identical to the rear-facing wide-angle camera in terms of the specifications, but the field of view is actually a bit narrower. While it's still too early to state how the performance from the cameras are, being with prototype hardware and software, the results are still impressive. The Zenfone 5 and 5Z are most definitely coming to India, and although we do not have a release timeline nor expected pricing at the moment, if Asus manage to price this right and release it very soon, they definitely have two winners on their hands. Thanks for watching this video, see you again in the next one.